Hey, it's Jessi, coming at you once again between Mondays with a bonus episode. Why? Well, because Kevin Bacon got in touch. You know, the actor Kevin Bacon. When I was a teenager, some college kids made that game about him, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Movie buffs challenge each other to find the shortest path between any actor and Kevin. Like my producer, for example, Sarah Storm. She's also a working actor. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Jessi.
Okay, so Sarah, let's play. Now,
Okay.
I know that you do TV and not movies, but think broadly here.
I'll think aspirationally, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I love TV.
I aspire to be what you were not so long ago, which was a character on Law & Order SVU, right?
It was a dream. Yep. So I played this woman named Bronwyn Freed.
Okay, Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get from Bronwyn to Kevin.
So Dean Winters, a prolific and amazing actor, you might know him from like the Allstate Mayhem commercials, has also done a big stint on Law & Order SVU. He's also done a pretty big stint on one of my favorite comedies, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which also features Kira Sedgwick, Kevin Bacon's incredible spouse, and also frequent co-star.
Amazing. So that would give you essentially a Bacon number of 3.
Yep, as I understand it.
It strikes me that our connections are so much more than physical. And it is the way that we are connected as humans, putting our heads and minds together, that's going to stop all this. So now Kevin's trying to use his name to raise awareness about the importance of staying home, if you can. Plenty of people, from nurses to doctors to bus drivers, have to go to work. They don't have a choice. And we're grateful that they do, because at the moment they're basically keeping the world turning. But all the rest of us have to do our part to keep them safer. And what's that? It's staying home. Hi, Kevin. It's Jessi Hempel, host of Hello Monday. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Jessi.
Kevin, it's really great to speak with you, but I have to start by acknowledging that we're speaking during really challenging times. And so I wanted to start by just asking if everybody you're with is okay right now.
Everybody I'm with is okay right now. I got a nice text yesterday from a friend who had been tested and who came back negative, so that made me, that was my good news for that day. Our circle is very, very small at this point, just in terms of, who I'm actually interacting with in any kind of a physical way. But I think that I'm sure that you've noticed this, that we are at a point where, because we're so stuck at home, we're kind of reaching out to a lot of people that we wouldn't necessarily speak to and check in with old friends, and that's been a real, a little bit of a silver lining.
It has been a silver lining. The reason that we're on the phone today is to talk about something that you're trying to do yourself to help with awareness around this important thing that we need to be doing right now, which is staying home.
We started thinking about ways to connect 6 Degrees, which is a foundation that I've had for many years, to this idea of staying at home. And someone came up with the I Stay Home For hashtag. And because of my connection to this, crazy game that has been around for years, and because of the issue of social distancing versus connectivity, I seem to be a natural kind of fit. For a lot of years, I've been thinking about this 6 Degrees thing, because when I first heard about the game, I sort of thought it was a joke at my expense. And then it just didn't really go away. And I started thinking about the fact that if you take me out of it, which is really what this is all about, it's really never, ever, 6 Degrees has never really ever been about me. I mean, I was a kind of a random choice that happened to be on a TV screen when these college kids were sitting around and came up with the idea.
Did you know the guys who created that game, which I've long loved? I think I was in college around the time that it was created.
No, I never knew them. No. They were college kids from I think it's Albright College in Pennsylvania, and no, I had nothing to do with it.
The
and I
game just
really
appeared?
think that it just kind of appeared. And, this is before social media. So it was almost before even the idea of something, I hate to even use this word, but was before anything spread virally. It was just this, kind of crazy concept that people started talking to me about. And I started to hear about it I heard about it on Howard Stern. I heard about it on the Jon Stewart show. And I thought, oh, this is kind of a nightmare, because I thought that it was this joke, that can you believe a loser like Kevin Bacon can be, connected to all the greats in Hollywood history. But then I started thinking, if you do take me out of it, and like I said, I just don't think it's ever been about me. The concept is actually a really powerful one, and that is that we are all connected. And sadly, this is a tough way to learn that, but this virus is a really, really good example of that.
2 weeks ago, we thought it was enough to just wash our hands. And looking forward, we have no idea what's ahead. And I just think that one of the most challenging things about this for all of us is really sitting in the unknown and not being able to know what the next moment's going to be like, and only understanding that it's going to be that way for a while. Can't think of anything else in my lifetime that has caused me to become this comfortable with not knowing something.
That's right. That's a tough thing to give yourself over to. I completely agree. And also, we're people and society that tends to want to plan for the future. And we're forced into a situation where we just have to take it one day at a time. And that's making things feel kind of slow. I don't know if they do for you, but I feel like time is kind of itching along,
Yes.
And I turn around and I go, Jesus, it's only been a week. Or whatever it's been, since I've been in this kind of version, or my version of lockdown. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
I want to understand more about how your foundation works to connect people. Can you tell us more about that?
My foundation is always in a kind of changing, morphing situation. When I was trying to put something together, I was at a point in my life years ago where I sort of felt like I needed to get out of my own kind of self-obsession about career and all these kinds of things. And I looked to Paul Newman, and I saw what Paul had done with his food, and the fact that he liked to cook and was then raising hundreds of millions, for different charities and selling this stuff, and I thought, well, what do I have that I'm branded with? And that's when the idea of 6 Degrees kind of popped up, and I really didn't know anything about philanthropy. I'd been to benefits, and I showed up and been in auctions and all that kind of stuff, but I'd never really been involved with launching something philanthropically. And frankly, I'm still kind of learning. I feel like this campaign, it's hard to explain what we do, but this campaign would be sort of a good example of the concept behind 6 Degrees.
Did you ever go back to those 2 college guys who created that game and thank them for setting you on this course?
Yeah, well, I had been in touch with them. I first met them when Jon Stewart had a nighttime talk show. And, it was, at first I was like, kind of like, I don't even want to meet these guys. They've saddled me with this terrible thing. But then I saw that that they were actually extremely, supportive and sweet, and really liked my movies. You know what I mean? It was actually
Of course they did, Kevin.
They were actually fans, and so I was like, okay, I got to kind of reframe this. Touch through the years. There was a moment when I thought, well, maybe there's a way to make a buck on this thing, and we had a board game, and we had a book, But the truth is that the thing about the 6 degrees thing, which is, I can't really think of too many examples of this, is that it's not anything that you can hold in your hand. It's just an idea. It's just it's just a concept. And that's one of the things that I think is so interesting about it is, it's not tangible. It's almost like a strange kind of, philosophy of the connectivity of human beings. And like I say, it's never been about me. It's always been about us as a planet.
Well, I think it is more than a philosophy. It's also a sense of comfort that the whole idea gives you, that you can actually trace yourself to whoever you're around, whether you know them or not, whether they live near you or not. Somehow your actions, they impact everyone else's other actions. And I think that brings us back to what you're trying to do with this campaign. And so I would love it if you would give us a directive. What do you want us to do?
Stay at home, to the best of your ability. I mean, there's an article today in the New York Times about that. That's going to be the weakness of the virus. That has shown to be its weakness, is when people are able to close their circle of the people that they have contact with, know that it's going to end, but just for now, avoid contact with other people and have as little contact physically as you possibly can with your neighbors. I mean, if you go outside, try to keep some distance with love, and close the circle of the amount of people that you see, and then all the other stuff. Listen, I'm not an expert. I can only say that this is what seems to be the thing that's going to work. And it's also what I'm doing. I have 3 people, my wife and my son, basically in our house. And outside of that, there's still people that I'll see. I'll see them, on the street, at a distance. We have to shop, obviously. We have to be able to eat. We have to be able to get food.
Kevin, I have one more question for you. I'm just curious if this is having any impact on any artistic projects that you have going on this spring.
I was in the middle of shooting a television series for Showtime. It's the 2nd season of a show that I'm on called City on a Hill. And we shut down halfway into our 3rd episode, and everybody went home. And so I don't know when that's going to be up and running. I have a bunch of music that was recorded before the virus with the Bacon Brothers, my brother and I. One of the last things we did was we were in a studio for a couple of days and cut a couple of new songs. In terms of like home projects, I feel really grateful that I have some instruments, because having an instrument in your hand, being able to make music, I'm able to sing with my wife, and she plays the ukulele a little bit, and so we get to play some Beatles songs or whatever. I'm also just started writing a new tune, so that's been something good to focus on. We do love to cook. We're lucky in that way. I feel bad for people that either don't like to cook or have no kind of experience with it. I'm pretty good at looking at anything in a pantry and turning it into something edible. My brother always called it mung. He just came up with this word just called mung, meaning nothing, which is just whatever you take, you put it into a pan and you cook it, and then it's like bachelor living. Then you put the fork in the pan and you eat it. We've expanded a little bit from mung, but it's been a good skill to have.
What's the secret to it? Is it like just add enough garlic and it's fine?
Yeah. If you have garlic or onions, you always start with that and then just go from there. Listen, most recipes do that. If you really break them down, whether it's Asian or Italian, they at least the kind of food I like tends to Mexican, all tends to start with that. But listen, I'm not a cooking expert. I'm just here making mung.
Well, I hope that you enjoy it and that you have plenty enough to eat for a long time. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Best to you and your family.
I'm Sarah Storm, and I'm staying home for my nibblings, for my spouse, and for anyone I could give this virus to if I'm infected and just am asymptomatic right now. It's not worth the risk. I don't want to kill people.
And I'm Jessi Hempel. I'm staying home for my friends Andrew, Nelda, and Christina, all of whom had bone marrow transplants last year. Stay healthy, folks. That's it for this week. Please wash your hands. See you on Monday.